Hey guys, it's me Bridget. I am back with another video. As you guys can tell by the title of the video, today we will be finally talking about chapter 7 of Women Who Run with Wolves. And I wasn't even planning on filming this today, but I have worked on the chapter a lot, working up to this video basically, for the past few days. So because the plans that I had for today got kind of canceled and thrown out the window, I decided to throw on a wig and a cap and work on this video. Before we get into the video, make sure that you like this video, because why should you like the video? I can't think of any reason other than that. I'd really freaking appreciate it. So just like the video, okay? And if you don't like it, just like the video, because I appreciate that too. And go ahead and subscribe to my channel. It's the big red button. It's free, and yeah, there's no reason why you shouldn't subscribe to it. And also hit the bell so you'll be notified when I come out with more videos, including the Women Who Run with Wolves series. So let's get into it. So today's chapter is chapter 7. It's called The Joyous Body, the Wild Flesh. Starting in the book, Estes said some stuff in the very beginning that I feel like introduces the chapter very well. She says, "Up in the Northlands, I watched one old wolf who had only 3 legs. She was the only one who could fit through the crevice where the blueberries were branching. I once saw a gray wolf crouch and leap in such a flash that it left an image of a silver arc in the air for a second afterwards. I remember a delicate one, a new mother, still fulsome in the belly, picking her way through the pool moss with the grace of a dancer." So I wanted to read that piece because, as y'all know, my birthday just recently passed, and the way I spent the beginning of my birthday was actually at the spa. I went to a Korean day spa. They're really, really cool, and part of the premise of them is that it's really cheap to go in, and basically you have a section where everyone's just naked, and you get in hot tubs and saunas and stuff like that. It's all women. They have them for men too, but obviously I went to the women's one. Something that I noticed there that I found so beautiful, and I almost I was literally staring at this woman, and it was probably really awkward, but she was just really making me feel some type of way in my heart. Basically, I was in the hot tub area, and across the hallway area I could see this older woman. She was probably 60s, maybe even 70s. She was sitting on a stool and taking the most time I've ever seen anyone take to literally just wash her body. She was just staring at herself in the mirror, just slowly washing every little part of her body, taking so much time and attention, getting new soap for every single body part, from neck to shoulders to upper arms to lower arms to her hands, her face, everything. She took so much time and energy and focus just to do every single part of her. I thought it was so beautiful. And what I realized while watching her and trying not to watch her at the same time because I didn't want to be awkward, she was really showing love to herself. She was really representing that she loves each and every one of her body parts, and that each and every one deserves her time and attention. And I was wow, I just admired it so much. I bought a body scrub and a massage at the spa, and then once it was over, before I left the spa, I did the same thing. I sat in front of the mirror, and I was I'm just gonna wash my body, and I took the washcloth, and I was washing each and every part. And I was looking at my legs, and I was wow, I love my legs. I love that I have skin on my legs. I love that hair grows out of my legs. I love that the skin protects the organs inside. I just love my entire body. I was looking at my vagina. I was looking at my belly button. I was looking at my breasts. I was looking at every single part of me. And you guys know struggle with a lot of insecurities. I've talked about that on my channel before. I'm definitely very insecure about the size of my breasts. But as I was in that spa, staring at myself in the mirror and just washing myself, I felt beautiful. I felt beautiful. I felt sexy. I felt worthy. I felt loved. I felt like a goddess. Also, what I was realizing doing so is my body does not look like any other body I've ever seen in life, and neither does anyone else's. No two bodies ever look the same, and damn, that's really freaking cool. Like, that's a beautiful thing that no two bodies look the exact same. In the book it says, women are sometimes discussed as though only a certain temperament, only a certain restrained appetite is acceptable. And too often added to that is an attribution of moral goodness or badness according to whether a woman's size, height, gait, and shape conform to a singular or exclusionary ideal. When women are relegated to moods, mannerisms, and contours that conform to a single ideal of beauty and behavior, they are captured in both body and soul and are no longer free. Being in that spa and just like spending time with my own body created a sense of freedom to me that I haven't felt in a long time. Recently, as my main source of income, I've been modeling and acting. And while I think that those things are really, really amazing, obviously they come with a certain level of insecurities just from being in the field, because your physical attributes are so very important and they are your job basically. So it just comes with a certain level of worry about your physical attributes. Like, it's unavoidable. But I think what I've come to learn from modeling and acting, what it is deep down, is not necessarily that models or actresses are so much more pretty than anyone else, or so much more perfect than anyone else, or healthier than anyone else. Like, none of those things are true. It's simply they're gifted in the ways that they're gifted. I'm not going to use the words perfect in this video, because none of it's perfect. It's all just what it is, and we're all perfect for what we have. Some models are gifted with clear skin. They're gifted with very like small petite bodies, tall looks that are just unusual and don't fit normal society. You don't see them every day, things like that. Something that I heard actually from being in the Steve Harvey show: gifts are what you can do better than anyone else with the least amount of effort. Models just happen to be gifted to be models. I think we are all gifted with many, many things in our lives, and none of our gifts are the same, and that it's always wrong if we're going towards something that we're not gifted. It's always going to be harder. It's always going to be not the right path for us, and it creates the idea that it's that way for everyone. For me personally, my body is technically my source of income right now, and for a while that had me really, really stressed out. And because of the stress, it became more difficult to do what I guess I'm gifted at in just being myself. And my acne started appearing again because I was trying to cover it up and make it look completely perfect all the time. I started gaining weight again because I was just stressed out all the time and started eating a lot of junk food just to make me, like, happier for a second, instead of eating the way I normally like to eat, which is just generally healthy, and staying the size that I normally am. Just the stress of having to put focus on my physical appearance caused my physical appearance to completely change, which made me more aware of the fact that it was a gift in the first place. And I think that taking this journey, reading this chapter, going to the spa, other things that I'm learning in this period of my life about like my body and connecting to my body, is really teaching me that my body is my home. That at the end of the day, more than anything, what matters is how well it can assist me and accompany me on my journey throughout life. And while right now it is assisting me extremely, in the future it will assist me in other ways, and that will be equally as beautiful. This is a long section, but there's a page in the book that basically talks about how the body is not supposed to just be the thing that helps us walk around, has a heart pumping blood, and has lungs that take in air, and brain, and all that kind of stuff. How it means so much more. In the book it says, in the instinctive psyche, the body is considered a sensor, an informational network, a messenger with myriad communication systems: cardiovascular, respiratory, skeletal, autonomic, as well as emotive and intuitive. In the imaginal world, the body is a powerful vehicle, a spirit who lives with us, a prayer of life in its own right. In fairy tales, it's personified by magical objects that have superhuman qualities and abilities. The body is considered to have two sets of ears, one for hearing in the mundane world, the other for hearing the soul. Two sets of eyes, one set for regular vision, another for far seeing. Two kinds of strength, the strength of the muscles and the invincible strength of the soul. The list of twos about the body goes on. In systems of work such as the Feldenkrais method, Ayurveda, and others, sorry if I pronounced that wrong by the way, the body is understood variously as having 6 senses, not 5. The body uses its skin and the deeper fascia and flesh to record all that goes on around it. Like the Rosetta Stone for those who know how to read it, the body is a living record of life given, life taken, life hoped for, and life healed. It is valued for its articulate ability to register immediate reaction, to feel profoundly, to sense ahead. The body is a multilingual being. It speaks through its color, its temperament, the flush of recognition, the glow of love, the ash of pain, the heat of arousal, the coldness of non-conviction. It speaks through its constant tiny dance, sometimes swaying, sometimes a jitter, sometimes trembling. It speaks through the leaping of the heart, the falling of the spirit, the pit at the center, and rising hope. The body remembers, the bones remember, the joints remember, even the little fingers remember. Memory is lodged in pictures and feelings in the cells themselves. Like a sponge filled with water, anywhere the flesh is pressed, wrung, even touched lightly, a memory may flow in stream. To confine the beauty and value of the body to anything less than this magnificence is to force the body to live without its rightful spirit, its rightful form, its right to exaltation. To be thought ugly or unacceptable because one's body is outside the current fashion is deeply wounding to the natural joy that belongs to nature. It is clear that the instinctive nature of women values body and spirit far more for their ability to be vital, responsive, and enduring than by any measure of appearance. So basically this is all to say that while your appearance is fun to play with, while it can be helpful for your mental health to just like let free, while it's also important and equally just fun to think about, it's not quite the most important thing, and it's not the highest value of your body. Your body's highest value is its ability to, as I said before, accompany you throughout life. Its ability to hold on to memories. Its ability to let go of memories. Its ability to function both in the physical realm and the emotional realm and the spiritual realm. And its ability to accompany us through all of that. It's a shame, but as I was talking about earlier, the jobs that I do, being on set, oftentimes I meet the most beautiful girls who are equally as gorgeous on the inside as they are on the outside. What I find very fascinating is oftentimes with these girls, you can very clearly tell the ones who are gifted to be doing what they're doing and who are trying to do what they're doing, who have ambition to be doing what they're doing for whatever reason and are going out of their way to try to be models or actresses rather than it just coming naturally to them. Estes talks about this in the book where she basically says, to malign or judge a woman's inherited physicality is to make generation after generation of anxious and neurotic women. To make destructive and exclusionary judgments about a woman's inherited form robs her of several critical and precious psychological and spiritual treasures. It robs her of pride in the body type that was given to her by her own ancestral lines. Destroying a woman's instinctive affiliation with her natural body cheats her of confidence. It causes her to persevere about whether she is a good person or not, and bases her self-worth on how she looks instead of who she is. It pressures her to use up her energy worrying about how much food she consumes or the readings on the scale and tape measure. It keeps her preoccupied, colors everything she does, plans, and anticipates. It is unthinkable in the instinctive world that a woman should live preoccupied by appearance in this way. It makes utter and complete sense to be as healthy and strong and to be as nourishing to the body as possible. Yet, I would have to agree that there is, in many women, a hungry one inside. But rather than hungry to be a certain size, shape, or height, rather than hungry to fit the stereotype, women are hungry for basic regard from the culture surrounding them. The hungry one inside is longing to be treated respectfully, to be accepted, and in the very least to be met without stereotyping. If there really is a woman inside screaming to get out, she is screaming for the cessation of the disrespectful projections of others onto her body, her face, and her age. Oftentimes we talk about girls who are too skinny and say they're longing for a burger, and oftentimes we talk about girls who are too big and say they're longing for a salad. Really deep down, neither of these women are yearning for either of those things. Both of these women are yearning and they're hungry, but they're hungry for love. They're hungry for acceptance, and they're hungry for respect and acknowledgement of their own worth. We are all gifted. We are all gifted to be who we are. And if told at a young age that who we are is not good enough, then we will search the rest of our lives to become good enough, because that's what we want as human beings. But instead of searching for that, what we're really searching for deep down is love. And that love comes from acceptance. We're yearning to be accepted for what we already are, to be allowed the space to spread ourselves rather than change ourselves. In the book it says, "Where there is a wound on the psyches and bodies of women, there is a corresponding wound at the same site in the culture itself, and finally on nature herself." In a true holistic psychology, all worlds are understood as interdependent, not as separate entities. It is not amazing that in our culture there is an issue about carving up a woman's natural body, that there is a corresponding issue about carving up the landscape, and yet another about carving up the culture into fashionable parts as well. Although a woman may not be able to stop the dissection of culture and lands overnight, she can stop doing so to her own body. A woman cannot make the culture more aware by saying change, but she can change her own attitude towards herself, thereby causing devaluing projections to glance off. She does this by taking back her body, by not forsaking the joy of her natural body, by not purchasing the popular illusion that happiness is only bestowed on those of a certain configuration or age, by not waiting or holding back to do anything, and by taking back her real life and living it full bore, all stops out. This dynamic self-acceptance and self-esteem is what begins to change attitudes in the culture. This theory does not solely apply to women, it applies to all of us. The acceptance of who we are and the shift of focus to less ego-driven acts and more soul-driven acts would literally, can and would change the entire world for all of us. The world we live in is not a completely separate entity from the bodies we live in. We live in them both. Both are mothers to us. The world we live in is a reflection of the conscious actions that we take. So how do we begin to view our bodies differently? The book says, we tend to think of the body as this other that does its things somewhat without us, and that if we treat it right, it will make us feel good. Many people treat their bodies as if the body is a slave, or perhaps they even treat it well, but demand it follows their wishes and whims as though it were a slave nonetheless. Some say the soul informs the body, but what if we were able to imagine for a moment that the body informs the soul, helps it to adapt to mundane life, parses, translates, gives the blank page, the ink, and the pen with which the soul can write upon our lives? The idea in our culture of body solely as sculpture is wrong. Body is not marble. That is not its purpose. Its purpose is to protect, contain, support, and fire the spirit and soul within, to be a repository for memory, to fill us with feeling. That is the supreme psychic nourishment. It is to lift us and propel us, to fill us with feeling, to prove that we exist, that we are here, to give us grounding, heft, and weight. It is wrong to think of it as a place we leave in order to soar to the spirit. The body is the launcher of those experiences. Without body, there would be no sensations of crossing thresholds. There would be no sense of lifting, no sense of height, weightlessness. All that comes from the The body is the rocket launcher. It is the nose capsule. The soul looks out the window into the mysterious starry night, and it is dazzled. Your body is not separate from you. Your body is more than your best friend or your lover. Your body is you, while it is also not you. Your body is your home, more than your home is your home. In order to think of your body differently, think of your body as the vessel that it is, as the temple that it is, as its purpose. Does it feel right? Can you feel with your fingertips? Can you smell with your nose? Are your legs strong for lifting? Are your arms strong for lifting? Does your core keep you together? Can your body bend in ways to be comfortable? Will it continue to be able to sit and move and be in positions comfortably and feel good to you? You have to listen to your body. You have to know your body. The cultural power of the body is in its beauty, but power in the body is rare. For most have chased it away with the torture of or embarrassment by the flesh. It is in this light that the wildish woman can inquire into the numinosity of her own body and understand it not as a dumbbell that we are sentenced to carry for life, not as a beast of burden, pampered or otherwise, who carries us around for life, but a series of doors and dreams and poems through which we can learn and know all manners of things. In the wild psyche, body is understood as a being in its own right, one who loves us, depends on us, one to whom we are sometimes mother, and who is sometimes mother to us. To finally get across more of the point and to understand the body, there is a story in the book, actually at the end of the chapter, which is different than every other chapter that we've read together. But I would like to read it to you guys. The story is called La Mariposa, the Butterfly Woman. To tell you about the power of the body in another way, I have to tell you a story, a true, rather long story. For years, tourists have thundered across the great American desert, hurrying through the spiritual circuit. Monument Valley, Chaco Canyon, Mesa Verde, Cayete, Keams Canyon, Painted Desert, and Canyon de Shelly. They peer up the pelvis of the Mother Grand Canyon, shake their heads, shrug their shoulders, and hurry home, only to again come charging across the desert the next summer, looking some more, watching some more. Underneath it all is the same hunger for numinous experience that humans have had since the beginning of time. But sometimes this hunger is exacerbated. For many people have lost their ancestors. They often do not know the names of those beyond their grandparents. They have lost, in particular, the family stories. Spiritually, this situation causes sorrow and hunger. So many are trying to recreate something important for the soul's sake. For years, tourists have come also to Puye, a big dusty mesa in the middle of nowhere, New Mexico. Here, the Anasazi, the ancient ones, once called to each other across the mesas. A prehistoric sea, it is said, carved the thousands of grinning, leering, and moaning mouths and eyes into the rock walls there. The Dine, Navajo, Jicaria, Apache, Southern Ute, Hopi, Zuni, Santa Clara, Santo Domingo, Laguna, Picuras, Tesuque, all these desert tribes come together here. It is here that they dance themselves back into lodgepole pine trees, back into deer, back into eagles, and katsinas, powerful spirits. And here too come visitors, some of whom are very starved of their genomyths, detached from the spiritual placenta. They have forgotten their ancient gods as well. They come to watch the ones who have not forgotten. The road up to Puye is built for horse hooves and moccasins. But over time, automobiles became more powerful, and now locals and visitors come in all manners of cars, trucks, convertibles, and vans. The vehicles all whine and smoke up the road in a slow, dusty parade. Everyone parks troshimoshi, willy-nilly, on the lumpy hillocks. By noon, the edge of the mesa looks like a 1,000-car pileup. Some people park next to the 6-foot-tall hollyhocks, thinking they will just knock over the plants to get out of their cars. But the 100-year-old hollyhocks are like old iron women. Those who park next to them are trapped in their cars. The sun turns into a fiery furnace by midday. Everyone trudges in hot shoes, burdened with an umbrella in case it rains. It will. An aluminum folding chair in case they tire. They will. And if they are visitors, perhaps a camera, if they're allowed. And pods of film cans hanging around their necks like garlic wreaths. Visitors come with all manners of expectations, from the sacred to the profane. They come to see something that not everyone will be able to see. One of the wildest of the wild, a living Newman, La Mariposa, the butterfly woman. The last event of the day is the butterfly dance. Everyone anticipates with great delight this one-person dance. It is danced by a woman, and oh, what a woman. As the sun begins to set, here comes an old man resplendent in 40 pounds of formal dress turquoise, with the loudspeakers squawking like a chicken espying the hawk. He whispers into the 1930s chrome microphone, and our next dance is gonna be the butterfly dance. He limps away on the cuffs of his jeans. Unlike a ballet recital where the act is announced, the curtains part and the dancers wobble out. Here at Pouillet, as at other tribal dances, the announcement of the dance may precede the dancer's appearance by anywhere from 20 minutes to forever. Where is the dancer? Tidying up the camper, perhaps. Air temperatures over 100 degrees are common, so last-minute repairs to sweat-streaked body paint are needed. If a dance belt, which belonged to the dancer's grandfather, breaks on the way to the arena, the dancer would not appear at all, for the spirit of the belt would need to rest. Dancers delay because a good song is playing on Tony Lujan's Indian Hour on radio's Taos KKIT after Kit Carson. Sometimes a dancer does not hear the loudspeaker and must be summoned by footrunner. And then always, of course, the dancer must speak to all relatives on the way to the arena, and most certainly stop to allow the little nephews and nieces a good look. How odd the little children are to seeing a towering Katsina spirit who looks suspiciously, at least a little, like Uncle Thomas, or a corn dancer who seems to strongly resemble Aunt Yazzie. Lastly, there is an ubiquitous possibility that the dancer is still out on the Tessacue Highway, legs dangling out the maw of a pickup truck, while the muffler smudges the air black for a mile downward. While awaiting the butterfly dance in giddy anticipation, everyone chatters about butterfly maidens and the beauty of the Zuni girls, who danced in ancient red and black garb, with one shoulder bare, bright pink circles painted across their cheeks. They laud the young male deer dancers who danced with pine boughs bound to their arms and legs. Time passes, and passes, and passes. People jingle coins in their pockets. They suck their teeth. The visitors are impatient to see this marvelous butterfly dancer. Unexpectedly then, for everyone who is bored to scowls, the drummer's arms begin drumming the sacred butterfly rhythm, and the chanters begin to cry to the gods for all that they're worth. To the visitors, a butterfly is a delicate thing. Oh, fragile beauty, they dream. So they are necessarily shaken when out hops Maria Lujan. And she is big, really big, like the Venus of Willendorf, like the Mother of Days, like Diego Rivera's heroic-sized woman who built Mexico City with a single curl of her wrist. And Maria Lujan? Oh, she is old, very old, very, very old, like a woman come back from dust, old like old river, old like old pines at timberline. One of her shoulders is bare. Her red and black manta blanket dress hops up and down with her inside it. Her heavy body and her very skinny legs make her look like a hopping spider wrapped in a tamale. She hops on one foot and then the other. She waves her feather fan to and fro. She is the butterfly, arrived to strengthen the weak. She is that which most think of as not strong, age, the butterfly, the feminine. Butterfly Maiden's hair reaches to the ground. It is thick as 10 maize sheaves, and it is stone gray. She wears butterfly wings, the kinds you see on little children who are being angels in school plays. Her hips are like 2 bouncing bushel baskets, and the fleshy shelf on the top of her buttocks is wide enough to ride 2 children. She hops and hops and hops, not like a rabbit, but in footsteps that leave echoes. I am here, here, here. I am here, here, here. Awaken, you, you, you. She sways her feathers, fan up and down, spreading the earth and the people of the earth with the pollinating spirit of the butterfly. Her shell bracelets rattle like snakes. Her bell garters tinkle like rain. Her shadow, with its big belly and little legs, dances from one side of the dance circle to the other. Her feet leave little puffs of dust behind. The tribes are reverent, involved. But some visitors look at each other and murmur, "This is it? This is the Butterfly Maiden?" They are puzzled, some even disillusioned. They no longer seem to remember that the spirit world is the place where wolves are women, bears are husbands, and old women of lavish dimensions are butterflies. Yes, it is fitting that the wild woman, butterfly woman, is old and substantial, for she carries the thunder world in one breast, the underworld in the other. Her back is the curve of the planet Earth with all its crops and foods and animals. The back of her neck carries the sunrise and the sunset. Her left thigh holds all the lodge poles. Her right thigh all the she-wolves of the world. Her belly holds all the babies that will ever be born. Butterfly Maiden is the female fertilizing force, carrying the pollen from one place to another. She cross-fertilizes, just as the soul fertilizes mind with night dreams, just as the archetypes fertilize the mundane world. She is the center. She brings the opposites together by taking a little from here and putting it there. Transformation is no more complicated than it is. This is what she teaches. This is how the butterfly does it. This is how the soul does it. Butterfly Woman mends the erroneous idea that transformation is only for the tortured, the saintly, or only the fabulously strong. The self need not carry mountains to transform. A little is enough. A little goes a long way. A little changes much. The fertilizing force replaces the moving of mountains. Butterfly Maiden pollinates the soul of the earth. It is easier than you think, she says. She is shaking her feather fan, and she's hopping, for she is spilling spiritual pollen all over the people who are there. Native Americans, little children, visitors, everyone. She is using her entire body as a blessing. Her old, frail, big, short-legged, short-necked, spotted body. This is woman, connected to her wild nature, the translator of the instinctual, the fertilizing force, the mender, the rememberer of old ideas. She is la voz mitologica. She is wild woman personified. The butterfly dancer must be old because she represents the soul that is old. She is wide of thigh and broad of rump because she carries much. Her gray hair certifies that she need no longer observe taboos about touching others. She is allowed to touch everyone. Boys, babies, men, women, girl children, the old, the ill, and the dead. The butterfly woman can touch everyone. It is her privilege to touch all, at last. This is her power. Hers is the body of La Mariposa, the butterfly. I find that freaking beautiful. Really, really, really beautiful. It makes me excited to grow old. It makes me admire all of the older women that I see. It makes me admire my own body. It makes me excited to watch my body grow. It makes me want to work out my legs so they can hold more. Everything about that story is beautiful to me. Finally, to end the chapter, Estes has a few words that I would like to share with you guys. The body is like an earth. It is a land unto itself. It is vulnerable to overbuilding, being carved into parcels, cut off, overmined, and shorn of its power, and as any landscape. The wilder woman will not be easily swayed by redevelopment schemes. For her, the questions are not how to form, but how to feel. The breast in all its shapes has the function of feeling and feeding. Does it feed? Does it feel? It is a good breast. The hips, they are wide for a reason. Inside them is a satiny ivory cradle for a new life. A woman's hips are out-triggers for the body above and below. They are portals. They are a lush cushion, the handholds for love, a place for children to hide behind. The legs, they are meant to take us, sometimes to propel us. They are the pulleys that help us lift. They are the anillo, the ring for encircling a lover. They cannot be to this or to that. They are what they are. There's no supposed to be in bodies. The question is not size or shape or years of age, or even having two of everything, for some do not. But the wild issue is, does the body feel? Does it have right connection to pleasure, to heart, to soul, to the wild? Does it have happiness, joy? Can it, in its own way, move, dance, jiggle, sway, thrust? Nothing else matters. And finally, this is a poem that Estes shares, actually from the very popular book by, and please forgive me because I know I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but Tezoke Shang's poem for colored girls who have considered suicide when the rainbow is not enough. Here's what I have. Poems, big thighs, little tits, and so much love. Amen, sister. That's what I got. So I found that chapter really, really interesting. One thing that I find very interesting in my own psyche, and tell me in the comments if you guys like had the same type of situation too, but while I was reading it, I still found myself doubting myself. Reading about La Mariposa just kind of presented a new set of values to compare my body to. It made me think about how small my thighs are, how small my breasts are, and whether they're big enough to feed a child, whether they're big enough to hide a child, whether I'm, fit for this life and for even the purpose that they are meant to hold. But towards the end of the chapter, what I realized is at the end of the day, all bodies can do that. And my body can do that. And it's not about finding more ways to constrict yourself, more things to judge yourself against. It's not about finding more things to hold against yourself, but it's about finding more ways to accept yourself, to believe in yourself, and to love yourself. Because at the end of it, I realized maybe I'm not the most comfortable, but I will get there before it's time to, and I don't have children yet, so I'm not at that place in my life. My body isn't meant for that yet. And for the place that I am in, for the man who loves me, for the family that I have, for the dreams and the creative life that I wish to pursue, my body is perfect. My body is exactly what I need for those things. I can surely make it stronger so that my legs can hold me up more. I can surely make it healthier so that my energy levels can stay strong as I go on, but as it is at this moment is perfect, and I love it. And this will be the only time in the video that I use the words perfect, because we are all perfect. Your body is perfect the way it is, whether you are healthy or unhealthy, whether your body is how it's supposed to be or not, whether you have two of everything or not. Your body is how it is supposed to be in this moment, and therefore it is perfect, and you should, rather than get to changing it and figuring out how to make it better, get to understanding it and accepting it for what it is and living with it and loving it for what it is. Because acceptance is only half the battle of love. The rest of it is continuing to choose to give it kindness and care. That, I think, is the hard part. Because we can accept ourselves all we want to and say, yeah, okay, this is what I look like, but that doesn't mean I like it. That doesn't mean I'm going to be nice to it or anything like that. But to love it is both to accept it as it is and also to be kind to it and understand it and keep striving to make it healthy and good. Okay, so that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope I didn't shake the table too much or make my squeaky chair squeak too much, because that I'm sure is very annoying. Let me know what you guys thought about this one. Please leave in the comments like any of your thoughts, because I always love to share that with y'all. If you like the video, if you have yet to like it, because I love that. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet and put on my notifications, you should definitely do that, because we're gonna be hanging out a lot and I'm digging it. I don't know if y'all are, but I am. Love you guys so much. Leave me a comment, any suggestions you guys want to see other videos. Also, we'll be coming out with chapter 8 very soon. Yeah, that's pretty much all I could think to say. So this video is like over an hour long of footage, so I'm gonna go. Bye! you go. I'm sure I already asked you guys this, and hopefully you already have, but just in case you haven't, make sure you like and comment on this video and go ahead and share it with your friends too. If you guys enjoyed that video and would like to continue to hang out with me, go ahead and follow my Instagram, yo! I post on there way more often than I do YouTube, and I also respond to my DMs so we could be real friends in like real life, you know? Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And if you're looking for more stuff to watch, this was my last video and I think you'd really like this video right here. So check it out. I'll be waiting. Go ahead and click whenever you're ready. I'll be waiting. Okay, hopefully you've clicked now. Bye.